Hey everybody, I am TinTim, that is T-I-N as in nailed to the cross, T-I-M as in martyr me. I am America's first drag queen public intellectual, aka the Cornell motherfucking West of drag, coming to you each week with my thoughts on the most recent episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 5. When I first watched this week's episode, the telenovela episode, my first reaction was that I wasn't totally sure what I was going to talk about in this week's video, just because most of the sort of like storylines weren't really new, but more continuations or like conclusions of issues that I've already talked about in past videos. But, you know, the more I thought about it, then the more I realized that the one thing that did feel completely new, or mostly new, this week was Detox's storyline. And then I also realized that I haven't really talked about Detox much at all season, which is sort of strange to me because you know, I was a big Detox fan even long before the season started. I would consider her one of my like favorite drag queens of all time. And going into the season, I absolutely expected her to be like one of the stars of the season. And, you know, obviously she's done very well. Final 5, I think, with good prospects for being in the final 4 or 3. But at the same time, it seems like she hasn't really been like at the forefront, or they haven't really kind of put her forward as like the star in that way. And it seems like the story that they've decided to tell about her, and they played into this again this week, is that she is like an A+ queen delivering, you know, kind of B+ work. Which may be true. I think, you know, it's always hard to judge that kind of thing when we don't see everything, and be that as it may. I also, though, get this feeling like she, you know, part of what is happening to her is that she is kind of breaking like the, you know, one of the great fundamental rules of reality television, right? Which is that I feel like she doesn't really need them, you know, enough, and that it kind of feels like maybe she, you know, she just kind of isn't like playing the game enough for their taste. Like she's too established, too self-possessed, too kind of comfortable in what she does to really give them the kind of like drama that gives you that level of like screen time, right? Considering all that, I thought her little vulnerable moment, or like sharing the emotion and the story about her boyfriend who died, was really interesting because, you know, usually I really dislike a lot of the like emotional moments on the show. They just often feel very kind of emotionally manipulative or even exploitative, especially like the little reunions with parents and things. This one felt really different to me, and I think for a couple of reasons. I think one was that it really felt like Detox was in control of the moment, and it was like very much on her own terms. It wasn't something that was kind of manipulated or set up at all. And then it came in kind of like a very unexpected, even jarring moment in this way, where it seemed like, you know, even RuPaul, who usually has some little kind of, you know, self-helpy response to that kind of thing, was like kind of rendered like speechless and had nothing to say, right? So there was this way that I felt like she kind of like seized it. And I think the other thing I liked about it was that the particular story she was sharing was not the kind of easily packaged and kind of safe and, you know, sold to, you know, Betty and Joe Beercan or whoever. There's this kind of like redemptive emotional moment. It was something much more, I think, kind of complex and difficult and layered. You know, it's this story about a boyfriend who had, you know, done some traumatic kind of like abusive behavior. There was stalking involved, a very uncomfortable and even like very queer kind of experience that you kind of can't reconcile into like a normal, nice little easy things. There was a lot of unresolved stuff and a lot of difficult stuff and a lot of the kind of thing that you know, I think some people might hear about and sort of stigmatize, and she just kind of like put it out there despite all that. And I think that was very powerful. I think especially for anyone who has, you know, experienced similar situations where there is that just that mix of conflicting emotions about someone. Anyone who has been with, you know, a person who has like addictions, or, you know, has been abusive, or there's any of those sort of layers. I feel like she, by putting it out there, she really was like, you know, kind of made that less taboo and like something that can be talked about, and I appreciated that a lot more than I usually appreciate those little emotional whatevers. I think that Detox in general, I was talking about this with one of my friends here, Jezebel Agogo, and what she said was that Detox sort of has this really fascinating combination of being like really transgressive and really blatantly crass, like a lot of the time, but then also this just sort of fundamental kind of class. She just has an integrity and a consistency to the way that she carries herself and interacts with other people. Everything that I've heard about her kind of out in the world from various people that have interacted with her is that she's just kind of a fundamentally good person who will go to bat for you. You know, don't mess with her. Like, she's not one to be trifled with, but that she is just good people. I really appreciate that she does have that sort of crass edge, and it seems like she doesn't compromise, that she just continues to bring that. On the one hand, I feel like, you know, Ru really appreciates kind of punk. She has kind of that whole punk history herself, but she also really wants her girls to kind of adapt and code switch and be able to be respectable when they need to be. And I feel like Detox is just Detox in this way that I think has a lot of integrity to it. And so, you know, yeah. So this video, I guess, is just the Detox Love Fest for this week. And I think that is all I have for you this week. I look forward to checking in with you all again next week. And we are getting down to the end run here, so should be an exciting finale. Love to you all. Mwah.